FCS Connect. We are really glad that you're here, and we always enjoy our time together. All right, thank you, Dr. Washburn. I see you've already recorded the session. You are right ahead of me. I'm glad somebody's on top of it this morning. So y'all, I've got a confession to make. I was late this morning to work, and part of the reason that I was late is I could not get out of bed. And in fact, I kept hitting the snooze. I've got about 5 alarms set that go off 30 minutes, but I'm snoozing my 5 alarms now. And so I found this online, and I thought this is really probably pretty much the reason that I keep hitting the snooze button every morning, to just put off living for another 9 minutes. And so I see Shelly shaking her head. She can agree with that. Some of it is to get a little more sleep, or I don't think any of it is to finish a dream, but most of it is just, I don't want to get out of bed and face the day, you know what? So I've got a question for us today in the chat. Nothing work related, but tell us in the chat, how many times do you hit the snooze button in the morning? Be honest, how many times do you hit the snooze button in the morning? Whoa.
I'm really bad about doing it. I'll set alarms 5 minutes apart. And so I'm hitting one, it repeats every time you snooze it. So I'll have 5 alarms that are all going off after the snooze timer has gone up.
Yeah.
So I eventually just put my phone under my pillow and lay there.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, so we've got some 0. I'm jealous of these people with natural body clocks. I don't have anything natural, I think, but I certainly can't get up without an alarm. Katie Conrad said back in college 3 to 4 times. Oh, these are great. I see a lot of them. You 0 folks. I don't think you're being honest, truth be told, but that's okay. We won't call you out. All right, so I'm glad to know that it's not just me in the morning who's having a really hard time getting up. It's going to be pretty difficult, especially when it's dark outside and I'm trying to get ready. That is the worst. Oh, naps are a whole nother story. I hear you there. I absolutely hear you there. That's great, you all. Well, good. You all have made me feel better this morning. Well, you all, we are really excited to welcome today our community health team. So speaking of sleep and getting enough sleep, it's a perfect group to have with us. And we're excited to have Dr. Washburn, and I believe that Bonnie Hines will be joining her as well for their updates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put myself on mute, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Washburn and to Bonnie, and you all take it away and let me know what you need from me, and I'll monitor the chat box for you.
Great. So Dr. Sneed, I need to share my slides, right?
Excuse me. Yes, if you can do that.
Okay, give me just a moment. So welcome everyone to our session today. Are you seeing the presenter slides or something else?
Not the presenter slide yet. Now we see the presenter slide. You are good to go.
Okay, do you see my notes?
Nope.
All right, super. Okay, well, we are really happy to present to you today the community health team, and also presenting with me are Bonnie Hines and Jessica Taylor, and I'll let them introduce themselves when the time comes. I'm Lisa Washburn. I'm an associate professor and community health specialist with UT Extension. And when we were tasked with presenting FCS Connect for this month, we talked with the community health leadership team about what topics might be most useful. And so we came to the conclusion that what might be most helpful is to give a review of the programs that we have in community health, training requirements are, and then details for implementation setting and what type of resources are available on our internal resources site. It can be confusing to keep track of all of the programs that we have available, not just for community health, but for all our knowledge areas. I think we're really fortunate that we have so many programming options. So hopefully this will help to clarify some of the things available for community health. And we invite your questions too if you have some after we get done. First off, let's talk about health information for men. So we adopted the Health Information for Men program a couple of years ago and had planned to pilot it right before COVID hit. And so we shifted our plan to do a virtual pilot instead of in person. But it's important to know it was developed for in-person delivery, and the target audience is middle-aged men. It was developed for work sites, but it can really be used in a variety of settings. The materials, as you will find them on internal resources, were primarily for in-person, very low tech, so handouts and maybe a flip chart or something. When we converted it for virtual, we added in some additional prompts, like some poll questions. We even have some videos that we created to support the program. So you'll also find on internal resources tip sheets for virtual delivery and PowerPoints that did not exist previously. It takes about 30 minutes per lesson to deliver, and it can be delivered as a multi-session series or standalone. And there are 11 lesson topics that you can choose from. So I think it does make a good series. If you were working with an existing group, maybe you could show them this buffet of options and they could pick the topics that they felt were the most relevant for them. Or you could use it just for a standalone presentation. There are a couple of topics here that with feedback from the leadership team, we felt like our primarily FCS female agent audience might be uncomfortable presenting. And so we have additional resources for those, like some videos and reinforcement materials. But I also want to remind you that you don't have to teach all of these lessons yourself. So you can recruit healthcare providers and others who have knowledge of these topics to teach, and you would organize the series or facilitate. So you don't have to be the expert on everything. No training is required to teach health information for men, and all the materials are on the FCS internal resources site. They are under the community health section in the physical activity category, which I know is strange, but there wasn't a category that it really fit well. So that's where it's at. It's under physical activity. You can find lots of resources there. The second program I want to highlight is our Extension Health and Wellness Ambassador Program. This is a master volunteer program that's focused on health and well-being. It's similar to Master Gardeners, but it is for health instead of horticulture. The target audience for this are volunteers who want to use their knowledge and service to others. We provide them with about 40 hours of training, which can be in person or virtual. And we expect 40 hours of volunteer service in return for that training within the first year. It's important to think about them as a target audience, the same way that you would a diabetes education program or any other health-related program. They need this information. And I think that approaching it that way is a little different than looking at it from the idea that they're going to work for us because they're volunteers. So first off, we're going to educate them, and then we're going to use them as a strategy to increase access throughout our communities. There is no training requirement, but it is recommended, and there will be an in-person training opportunity later in the year, which we will hit on in a few slides. There are 24 modules for content in this program, and they are all on FCS internal resources under community health volunteers. So if you are looking for a health-related topic for a single session, you can use these PowerPoints for that. They are not limited to just this program. And I would really encourage you to do that, because way too much effort went into producing these for them to sit here and only be used for one purpose. There are extensive notes on each of those PowerPoints, but they were designed for in-person facilitation. So the prompts that you'll see in the notes section really may not fit if you're doing it virtually. On the internal resources site, there is an agent guide. There are sample agendas and detailed outlines there. They primarily apply to a pre-COVID environment and in-person delivery, but they could give you a feel for what the program, how the program is outlined. There's also an ambassador manual, printed front and back. It's about 200 pages. That's the participant materials that they get. And we have sample agendas and marketing materials there as well. We are doing a virtual pilot right now, and I'm so excited that we have 8 counties involved and 24 volunteers. That's double what we had last year when we also did a virtual training. We are doing this on Zoom and Google Classroom, and what you see here is a very small version of our training outline. We will most likely do something similar in 2023, and I think that it is really helping to increase access and reduce the teaching burden on extension agents. So each of these sessions involves a county meeting and presentation of content. And then there are asynchronous modules or on your own modules that people do in between sessions. And that's what's posted on Google Classroom. Here are the training opportunities for the rest of this year. We have in-person training scheduled in each region. You can sign up for those in Super. So that'll be a day-long training. And then we have semi-annual agent updates through Zoom. We had one yesterday, and the recording of that session is posted to internal resources under agent resources for Extension Health and Wellness Ambassadors. So you're welcome to go view that if you like. And then we have our second update of the year, November 2nd, if you wanted to view that. The third program I'll highlight is A Matter of Balance. This is an evidence-based fall prevention program, and we do have funding for this program through the Administration for Community Living. So that's a federal grant. We are 1 year into that grant, so we've got 2 more years, and that grant covers the coach training and materials, and it also covers participant materials and postage. So that's a good resource. The target audience is older adults that have concerns about falling. And a lot of our in-person classes have been delivered in senior centers. If you have been conducted at extension offices, it can be delivered in any setting. So community partner sites, faith-based settings, delivery can be virtual or in person. And we have a special focus on virtual delivery through this grant because our federal partner is looking at ways that we can continue outreach even in this pandemic. And so if you have an interest in doing virtual sessions, I really encourage you to do that. Each of the sessions requires about 2 hours per session. In-person Matter of Balance is 8 sessions. With virtual, there's a session 0 where we look through technical requirements and make sure everybody's comfortable with the platform. It does require at least 2 trained coaches. So for an in-person class, geography is important, but for virtual, it is not. Your partner can be anywhere. At this point, we've trained nearly 2/3 of our FCS agents, so it's likely that someone nearby you has been trained. And on the internal resources site, there is a master list of folks trained, so you can check out that. So there is a training required called the coach training, and we are conducting this virtually. Completing the virtual training enables you to teach virtually or in person, so either and or. And the other requirement is that after that coach training, you conduct 2 Matter of Balance classes within a year to stay current. This is our next coach training. It's in March, and so it's about 3 hours each day. I think that breaking it out into that time frame really makes it more suitable for doing virtually. It's worked out really well so far. We have community partners who are being trained as Matter of Balance coaches, and our grant encourages and allows that. And we also know that counties that have a community partner or a volunteer who is also trained, they have higher implementation rates thus far. So that's something to look at too. For this group of trained folks, we have semi-annual updates. So after you are certified as a Matter of Balance coach, you'll want to sign up for these sessions in Super. And finally, there are resources on internal resources, the site, but it's really important to be trained. So you can go and get a preview, but these materials are limited only to people who have completed the Matter of Balance coach training. Recordings of update meetings are on the internal resources site, so you could go get caught up on those too. And this is the last program I'll highlight, and then I will I'll defer to Bonnie, and that is our Yoga for Kids program. So I co-developed this program in my previous job in Arkansas, and we have migrated it to Tennessee. It can be implemented in any setting where you have access to participants. The delivery method is in person, although during the pandemic, some agents were really creative and did some Facebook delivery of sessions or some of the content. It can be multi-session or it can be a standalone lesson, and it can be tailored to fit different age ranges, time availabilities, and setting. Training is required for this. There are some resources that are publicly available, so it's not like the materials are being held hostage, but to be fully certified, you do have to complete the training, and it is a full day. So we have one face-to-face training scheduled in each region for later this year. So I just want to point out that we do have a few FCE leader lessons available that relate to these major programs. Taking the right steps to prevent falls is an excellent introduction to matter of balance if you're trying to generate interest in that. Aches and pains, finding relief using non-drug methods includes some yoga and deep breathing. It's focused on non-drug methods to manage chronic pain, obviously. And then there's one that is an overview of the Extension Health and Wellness Ambassador Program as well. All right, Bonnie.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us this morning. I am Bonnie Hines, and I am one of the state extension specialists. I work with grant-funded programs. I don't really have anything on my own to share with you this morning, but I do work with Dr. Jarvandi on some of her programs, not the ones we're featuring because they're specific to counties, but she was unable to be with us this morning, so I'm pinch hitting and introducing you to some of the programs that she has available. The CDC Diabetes Prevention Program is an evidence-based program. It really has taken off across the nation in helping people stave off diabetes. We know the American Diabetes Association estimates that 1 in 3 Americans has prediabetes, which means that their glucose blood level is at between 100 and 125. Once it crosses that line to 126, a person has all of those attendant health issues related to diabetes. So this program has been proven over and over again that it can actually prevent taking that health risk to the next step. It can be delivered virtually or in person. It is the only folks eligible to participate, your audiences, are those who actually are pre-diabetic, not those who have type 2. One of the issues associated with this, in order to maintain fidelity to the CDC program, is that it is 1 year in duration for participants. If it is something that you think would be a great addition to your community, your county, you do have to be trained as a lifestyle coach, and that can be conducted either virtually or in person. It's actually managed through Emory University. And Dr. Jarvandi does have grant funding to pay for that training. So if that sounds something that your county is interested in, you can be in touch with her. And if you want to learn more before you take any other steps, it's all over the internet with the CDC. So you can take a look at it online and then see if it looks like something for you. Next slide, please, Dr. Washburn. Okay, this one I know is already familiar to a whole lot of you. Walk Across Tennessee. Walk Across Tennessee, of course, is the idea behind it is to get people interested, invested in that physical activity that keeps them healthy throughout time. The nice thing about Walk Across Tennessee is it can be as social or as individual as you would like it to be. The idea is that teams generally composed of 6 members, but a county can finagle that to their needs. In the course of 8 weeks, walks the roughly 500 miles that would be the width of the state of Tennessee, east to west. A captain is required to log those miles on behalf of his or her teammates. If you have conducted Walk Across Tennessee in your community in the past, no training is required, but if you are a first time, a new agent or someone who's looking to do this for the very first time, then you do need 1 hour of training, which is online and goes over the program itself as well as physical activity guidelines. And good timing, spring's coming. The opportunity for people to get out and walk is just about perfect for that 8-week time frame. And the next training, for those of you who are interested and haven't been trained previously, is coming up on March the 4th, Friday, March 4th. Registration is online and super right now, so take advantage of that. Walk Across Tennessee, in addition to actually feet to the ground, does have a conversion chart that if folks want to engage in some other kind of physical activity, it can count towards mileage. On that chart are things like swimming and yard work, and that conversion chart and other information is available online at Walk Across Tennessee, strung out together.org. So if you want to find out more, walkacrosstennessee.org, and look forward to an upcoming training on Friday, March the 4th. Next slide, please, Lisa. And finally, Tai Chi for arthritis. I know there are a lot of agents who have been conducting Tai Chi classes for years and years. What am I looking for? I'm losing my words. The Arthritis Foundation has been promoting Tai Chi for persons with arthritis for about 15 or 16 years now. It is a wonderful, gentle, low impact way for people who suffer from the pain of arthritis to increase their flexibility, decrease their pain, reduce their stress levels. If you wish to conduct that in your county, it's an 8-week program, 1 to 2 hours once a week, and it does require training. Even if you are familiar with Tai Chi yourself, in order to offer it in your community, you will need to be trained by a master trainer, and that can actually be accomplished in person or online. And just like the type 2 diabetes prevention program, Dr. Jarvandi does have grant dollars that can help pay for that training. Great way to get together people who in your community. I know it's very popular in the counties that offer it. And with that, I am going to cede to Jessica.
Good morning, everybody. It's so good to see everyone. A lot of faces I haven't seen in a while. My name is Jessica Taylor. I am a community health specialist within Family Consumer Sciences. I've been around for a very long time. And if you know anything about me, you know nothing about me is ever normal. So I am a hybrid specialist. I am in between community health and nutrition. Dr. Kristen Johnson and I work with these programs extensively. They've been around for over 10 years. They're evidence-based, and I can't say enough about the impact of these programs and the impact they've had on Tennesseans for over 10 years. I think that we've reached over 10,000 with our network of Tennessee Department of Health educators and UT Extension educators and medical providers across the state. These particular programs are licensed programs. They come from the Self-Management Resource Center that used to be called the Stanford Patient Education Center. They have since broken away from that university. There are a series of self-management programs, but the first one we're going to talk about is Living Well with Chronic Conditions. And it is the Chronic Disease Self-Management Program. If you've ever heard it put that way. It's a 6-week workshop. It provides tools for living a healthy life with chronic conditions. And when I'm saying chronic conditions, it could be anything that you have to deal with on a constant basis. If you wake up and you have adult acne like I do, or rosacea, you have eczema, psoriasis, if you are a COVID long hauler like me, this program is for you. It doesn't have to be the traditional diabetes, arthritis, cancer, obesity, and lung disease. What you find in these chronic condition programs is it's not about your condition, it's the symptoms and the actual steps that you have to take to manage those chronic conditions every single day. It's the link between everyone who has those chronic conditions. If you're interested in teaching a program that's not sit and listen, if you like to facilitate, group discussion, you like to brainstorm and help people come up with thoughts on their own, these types of programs are for you. They're fun. They do require a lot of preparation. They are scripted, and you do have to maintain fidelity within that, but there is some leeway, and within that, it really broadens the amount of people that you can reach with these programs. It does require 2 certified leaders to lead the community workshops, and each session is 2 to 2.5 hours in length, whether you're teaching it virtually or face-to-face. And next slide, please. Oops, thanks. Okay, take charge of your diabetes. It is a subsidiary of Living Well with Chronic Condition. It is a cross training. We do not offer this program as a standalone when you're becoming trained in it. Again, it is a 6-week program, and it helps people with diabetes take charge of their day-to-day management of their condition. And with that, we talk about communication. We talk about dealing with stress, pain management, scheduling, action planning. You know, we strive to make people who have to deal with these types of conditions successful. It all surrounds self-efficacy, because if you don't feel successful, and you're not going to be successful in managing yourself, and you're going to be more dependent upon what other people say for you, and you don't think for yourself. We do very much encourage partnerships with you and your physician, but we very much teach to be an advocate for yourself within your health, to understand what diabetes is, or what other chronic condition that you have, to be able to talk about the medicines that you have, to research all of the treatments that you could possibly have to help yourself. That's what we do. We do not specifically teach how to take their blood sugar. We do talk a little bit about nutrition, but everything that we do, we move for specific information to come from their medical team. Again, it requires 2 certified leaders to lead community workshops, and each session is 2 to 2.5 hours in length, whether it is face-to-face or in person. I've got a cadre of experienced leaders on this call today, and I have a whole list of them right here that I will share at the end. So if you're a new agent and you want to know what it's like to actually teach these sessions online or face-to-face, or what's the differences, the pros, the cons, the difficulties and the successes, please call on me or some of these agents that I will share with you at the end of this presentation. Next slide. Live healthy, work healthy. This is my new favorite evidence-based program. It is also a subsidiary of the Living Well with Chronic Condition program. It is a cross training. If you like working with with professionals, if you like working with the people that you work with every day, whether it's in the county office, in the mayor's office, some of your partners can definitely benefit from this program. But it is a workplace chronic disease self-management program, and we concentrate a lot on scheduling and communication with your coworkers and with your administrators and with your family, and how to juggle all of these things that you have to deal with and increase your quality of life and increase your production at work. It is 2 one-hour sessions per week, and it requires 2 certified leaders to lead community workshops. Dr. Kristen Johnson and I have led 2 here at UTIA, and we could go on and on for the days of the successes that we've had with this particular program. And we have led 1 leader training this past fall, and we plan to offer another one in October of 2022. And how do you become a leader? This is what I really wanted to share with everyone, because it can be quite complicated. So how do you become a leader of these evidence-based chronic conditions programs? So Living Well with Chronic Conditions program is the main program. In order to be able to take charge of your diabetes or live healthy, work healthy, you need to be able to be a leader of that particular program first. If you want to be trained in person, it is a 4-day in-person training. There is one coming up in August that is not full, and that is located in Super. If you want to be trained virtually, there are 2 going on at this time right now. There's going to be one in April and one in June. It is a 7-week, 13-session class. Each session is 2.5 hours. Every session is mandatory. So, with that being said, you have to come to all, whether it's a 4-day, whether it is the 13-session virtual training, you have to be there. There's no exceptions. The cross trainings, take charge of your diabetes. That is a day to a day and a half, whether it's virtual or face-to-face. And we have several coming up one in April and several in this summer, rather. And Live Healthy, Work Healthy. It's a half-day training, in-person training, and 4-hour virtual training. They're great. How to maintain leader certification? Well, this is kind of tricky as well. In order to become certified, you have to teach one of these 6 weeks classes within a year of completion of the training. After that, you have to at least teach 1 per year, whether it's virtual or face-to-face. Next slide. So if you are certified in more than 1, yay, they have changed the rules on this. Years ago, if you were trained in all 3, you had to teach 3 6-week workshops in 1 year. That's not the way it works now. All you have to do is teach 1 of the 3 every other year in order to be able to maintain certification in all 3 evidence-based programs. For you, current leaders, that's Lisa McMahon, Hilda Lytle, Rebecca, Joy, Rachel, Tennille, Heather, Beverly, Sarah, Terry, a bunch of people on here. If you have not signed up for the update training, we have 8 coming up, 1-day update trainings. Please let me know. The curriculum has been changed. We have a new book. We now have MP3 cards for relaxation that will be going to you and all the participants. There's a pre-registration that's located in Teams. If you don't have that link, please let me know and I'll send it over to you. We want to get everybody ready to teach these programs and continue the good work that we've had over 10 years. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Jessica. So these last couple of slides just show our community health team. If you're wondering who works in what areas, the details under our pictures don't necessarily align with the focus area of our work. But if you have questions, you can email any of us, and we will be happy to get you to the right person who can respond to whatever inquiries you have. So with that, are there any questions for the community health team?
Dr. Washburn, congratulations, great job, by the way. I wanted to point out that June Pewitt had put something in the chat back when you were talking about matter of balance, that I believe in Southeast Tennessee, they're doing virtual matter of balance classes.
Yes.
Anybody
yes.
can with June if they need more information.
Yeah, and we really appreciate June being the trailblazer with offering those virtual classes, and then also structuring it so that we can provide some additional support to agents who might not quite be comfortable with virtual yet. So we are happy to provide support for virtual matter balance. Any other questions? Okay, Chris, I'll kick it back to you then.
All right, thanks so much. You all, let's give them a virtual hand. They did a great job with the presentation. For some of you, this was a trip down memory lane for me. I've taught a lot of those programs, and boy, I remember Donna Calhoun and I way down there in McMinn and Polk County teaching these programs. So yeah, it was a really great presentation to see all those awesome programs. Are we back to a full presenter mode? Can you see my screen? Awesome. Well, we're up next, folks, with association news and updates. So I know that there's got to be some association news, especially with a conference coming up. So I'm going to open it up. Just feel free to unmute yourself if we've got some news and updates from our professional associations. No updates? No TEA FCS update for the state meeting or anything? All right, good. Anything from ESP, from our 4-H professional organization, or any other of our organizations? All right, everybody must be hitting that snooze alarm. We'll go on then. Any other announcements, requests, concerns, comments, or anything else for the good of the group? Feel free to unmute and let us know. This can include happy things that have happened as well.
I had a question request.
Go for it.
So we talked about 10 years ago how great we were. We used to do the Arthritis Foundation exercise program, and some of us still do it, and some of us do the SAIL program. Is there anything besides the Tai Chi that we can incorporate that UT Extension is good with us doing as far as senior exercise?
I will say not that I'm aware of. Dr. Jarvandi is the person most associated with Tai Chi for arthritis. So if you have questions, you can email her. But I do not think we have. At one time we had a grant with them, as Jessica can attest to, but that relationship is no longer active. So I don't know what other vestiges of earlier programming might be available to you, but you can get in touch with Dr. Jarvandi if you have questions.
Okay, well, I'd love for Extension to pick up a senior arthritis exercise for all these newer agents that are getting started. We still do the Arthritis Foundation exercise, which is through the AEA right now, and it's a hit. It's fantastic, and I know June's picked up the SAIL program and many others, but It's a big audience, once they come through chronic conditions, matter of balance, Tai Chi, they want more, they want exercise, they want other things. And I would just like for us to pick up something and let, everyone know what to do or the options out there, because the audience is there and the impact is amazing. So just my 2 cents.
Sarah, we are piloting a couple of chair yoga routines in some counties where we have community health leadership team members, and we are hopeful that we will be able to provide training in that for 2023. So it won't qualify as one of the evidence-based programs for the purposes of the Title III money for the senior centers, but it will definitely be something that you will be able to offer in different settings.
Thank you for sharing your experience, Sarah. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Hi, I have an announcement. This is June Pewitt in Hamilton County, and we're working with the Tai Chi for Arthritis / fall prevention master trainer, and we plan on having a at least a 2-day training for that form of Tai Chi in September, sometime 2 of the 4 days, September 21st through the 24th. If anybody's interested in that, we think it'll fill up fast. Shoot me an email, and I'll be glad to. We don't have all the plans worked out. We just have a date and a place at this time.
It's fabulous that you're partnering those two together, June, because Tai Chi in and of itself helps promote better balance. That's great.
Awesome. Thanks, June. I see Carla did put a link in the chat box for the TEA FCS registration. So if you all want to take a look at that, that was put in the chat box for Carla Bush. So I'll point that out as well. Do we have other announcements, requests, comments, concerns?
Chris, I received a direct message asking where FCS Connect recordings are posted.
That's a great question.
I know we've been sending out an email link, but for this season, I'm not sure that we have been posting them, have we?
You know,
They are posted on our FCS on demand. I'll put the link in the chat.
Great.
thank you, Karen Sargent. You saved the
Takes a
day.
village.
It does take a village. You all, eventually all these Zoom recordings run together. So yeah, they just kind of get on top of each other.
I have a Heather here. Hi. I have a quick announcement. I just sent out 2 emails, and one was for the date of April 5th for co-parenting, and then I was told that that was wrong, which is, thank you for doing that. And then I just sent out a correction, and I am being flooded with emails right now saying that it's the TEA FCS conference. So gosh golly, when we did our in-service calendar back in August, I wish that had been brought to my attention, but we'll change that date because I want as many people to go and support TEA FCS as possible. And so be on the lookout for a different date. It's going to be really hard. That in-service calendar is jam-packed this year. This is not this year's annual co-parenting update will be virtual, and it is absolutely necessary for any of you teaching the program to attend and participate, because we are unveiling a brand new participants book, a brand new facilitators guide, tons of new resources. We've been working I've been working on it for the past like year and a half to get things really up and going. And so I will adjust in super, and I'll talk to the program leaders about potentially finding another date. I am so sorry that it coincides with TEA FCS, but we'll make an adjustment. So ignore my emails.
Heather, you're saying the April 5th date we've been holding is no longer, right?
Well, it was never April 5th. Apparently, when the in-service calendar went out, it was never April 5th. April 5th is a community health training.
Oh,
So
I've got co-parenting on my calendar. I've had it on there for 3 or 4 months.
I've had it there since the beginning as well. And so when I actually just went in, to the in-service calendar that was shared, I see that it's on the 14th. So I don't know where there was a mix-up, but I have April 5th in my calendar, and I'm actually kind of curious in Super where it went. So just hang tight, wait for further communication from me. I'm going to get it all sorted out. But between now and then, you can release the 5th and you can release the 14th. Yeah, so it's for the 5th in Super. But the in-service calendar that actually went out says the 14th. So there is some kind of miscue there. I apologize.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dr. Sedges. Anybody else for the good of the order?
Chris, this is Joy.
Hey, Joy.
With awards, I was just going to let everyone know we had close to 100 awards submitted.
Yay.
So I'm going to get those out to our judges in the next few days. So good luck, everyone.
That is awesome, you all. 100 awards. That's great. That means we're going to have good competition. I know it this year. Fantastic. Well, I want to, on behalf of the Consumer Economics Leadership Team, say a big, big thank you to the Eastern Region for hosting us for our emerging trends in consumer economics. We had a great lesson on cryptocurrency as well. Central and West Tennessee, we've not forgotten you. We had to reschedule, of course, and we will be coming your way. And you all received an email with those revised dates for that. I do want to put in a shameless plug. Next week, we're traveling to Rutherford County, and we are going to be doing a training for our newest program, our Pilot Money Week. And so for those 12 counties that are our guinea pigs and our pilot counties this year, thank you so much. We look forward to spending the day with you next week in Rutherford County. And you got an email with all those details and probably more information than you ever wanted. So thank you all so much. Is there anything else for the good of the group or the order?
Hey, Chris, if you don't mind, I would like to just mention the Financial Fridays that our cluster group is doing in West Tennessee. That's open to anybody. If you would like the registration link, just shoot me an email. Tomorrow we're highlighting Mortgage Matters. We have a mortgage person from a local bank talking, but next Friday we have Chris and Dr. Barry coming on to talk about Retirement Ready. So we would invite all of our colleagues to join if you're interested. I'm happy to share the registration link.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. That is such a great program, and you all have a good following for that program as well.
I think Tennille may, well, we're excited to have y'all. And I think Tennille may drop the registration link in the chat if anybody is interested. But we would love to have y'all.
Awesome. Thank you. Anything else, y'all? All right, I counted to 3, so I did my teacher thing so I can move on. So here we go. Next month on March 17th, we're going to have my team, our team, the consumer economics folks will be joining us on March the 17th. We'll then have 2 more FCS Connect sessions. We'll have one in April when we'll be joined by our SNAP-Ed, TNCEP, and FNEP team. And then last but never least, on May 19th, we'll be joined by the nutrition and food safety team, and they will be wrapping up our year of FCS Connect. I don't know about you, but I look at this and I cannot believe that we are almost through these sessions and through this time. This really means that time is flying by quickly. So if there's nothing else for the group or for the good of the order, you all, I want to thank you for joining us. It was good to see smiling faces today. Hope everybody's able to get outside, enjoy the weather. Our friends in West and Central Tennessee, you all stay safe. Hopefully nothing major will happen your way. And we will see you all next time. So thank you all so much.
Have a good day.
Have a great day, everyone.